Welcome to the Belonging Podcast by Elevate Villages, where we hope to open hearts, widen circles, and live in the belief that we truly belong to each other. Today's guest is someone I hold a lot of respect and affection for. I met Toy Jefferson about 7 years ago, and I've watched her walk a path that has required extraordinary courage, discipline,
Oh, Lord.
and faith. Toy is a woman who learned very early on how to stand on her own 2 feet, and she's built herself now into being a coach, a mentor, a founder, and a leader who's truly helped thousands of people train their minds, reclaim their power, and train others. So, Toy, I can't wait to get into this conversation of where belonging has come into your life and shaped and strengthened you. But first off, just welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Melissa. It has been a minute, and things come full circle when it's time for them to come full circle. So blessed to have this opportunity to speak on your platform and to do some collaborating. This been a long time coming, and I'm glad the time has come. So thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. I feel like last time that I saw you, we were sitting in a coffee shop in Memphis. Isn't that right?
Yes,
Is that right? Yeah. I
that is
remember
right.
we had the most lovely, I think we were both late to our next appointments because we couldn't stop talking.
That
There's
sounds
so
about
many,
right.
yeah, there were so many things that were said in that conversation that I remember to this day that like
Oh,
really
that's
shaped
awesome.
how I think about things. So I really am super excited to have an in-depth talk today about where you're at and,
Okay.
how belonging works into that.
That's awesome.
So when people meet you today, Toy, what do you think they see first? Like the 2026 Toy, when somebody meets you that doesn't know you, what do you think they see?
So I am portrayed, if you will, as what they call like a boss, right? Somebody who has it all together, somebody who has succeeded in many things, somebody who motivates and inspire them, somebody who they may even say, I want to learn something from. And that's pretty much how I feel in that era, on top of a great mother, a great wife, mentor, woman of God, and things of that nature.
Okay, great. So you think that people are able to see you for who you are in
Yes.
general? Obviously we have lots of layers and nuances, but in general, you think people see the real Toy when they meet you?
Yes. And but the interesting part is the part that they don't see, right? The
Oh,
girl who was 15 years old on her own without four walls, three meals, two parents, and only me. The one who literally had to stay focused until I finished and let my faith guide me through all the things that I experienced as a teenage mother, as an unhoused teenager, as someone who had to figure it out instead of stressing out. TV, believe it or not, was a big part of my growing up and raising me, right? So Huxtables taught me about family, right? And how
okay.
that dynamic should look: a professional mom, a professional dad, a family who communicates. A family, sometimes we do fuss and we fight, but how do we calmly and bring that thing back together so it just works as a unit and keeps going and growing? And then there is a different world, right? Taught me about college. I was like, oh, I want to do that one day. Because mind you, I'm the first to graduate from high school out of second in our generation, but first of my mom's kids. And the first for sure to get a college degree. But they taught me about college. So for me, it's just understanding that it did not happen by osmosis. It took a lot of work to get here.
I'm like super curious. Thank you for going right away to these difficult teenage years. I imagine that in those years, you didn't feel a lot of belonging. And so it's interesting that you took what you saw on television and found like watching somebody else's belonging and was like, ooh, I want to do that so that I'll belong. Do you think that's like, am I capturing that at all?
Oh, absolutely. And so just a little bit of my her story, right?
Please,
Out
please.
of my siblings, I'm my mom girl. She has four girls, two boys. I'm the only girl that is full black. The rest of them are mixed. So there were a lot of
Mhm,
ways I didn't belong. It was she's not light enough. Her hair isn't silky enough.
mhm.
She doesn't look like us. It was that on top of I felt like I didn't belong because the things that I saw growing up and the things that were happening around me that I should not have been exposed to in most cases, I was like, it has to be something better. So that was my motivation to try to be the trailblazer and became the trailblazer to blaze trails and make a pathway and grade the ground for generations behind me. And it worked. It literally did. So I'm happy that I was I want to say experiment, but that's not what it is per se,
Well,
or
I
the
think in
one who
gen like,
endured.
life is some bit I think a lot of life is an experiment, and that's kind of
Yes.
part of the purpose that we're trying and figuring it out.
Yes.
And
And
you
and
figured it out.
absolutely, well, yeah, but it's bigger than me.
Okay.
This whole thing is bigger than me. I didn't know how bigger than me it was.
Mm.
Because to see, and this the funny thing, to see at this point, like when I graduated, my siblings, after me graduated, their kids graduating. When my twins graduated, we had 4 graduations at one time. That was golden. So my twins, my sister's son, and I'm sorry, sister, daughter, and my cousin's son. They all went. I did the photo shoot. I was so happy. I did the senior photos. Okay, so it's happening. We got kids in college now that are doing things. One of my boys, sergeant in the military, aircraft mechanic, welding in their careers, doing their thing. When I tell you, it just takes one to make others start to feel
Mhm.
like they belong too.
Wow. So, when you were a teen, living in your car and not having any belonging or connectedness anywhere, it feels almost like you created belonging before maybe even you belonged. Like, you just didn't belong, so you're like, "I'm gonna create belonging, so, like, I'm gonna create my own belonging?" Or did you find belonging and then slowly grow belonging for those around you? How do you can you
So I
reflect and figure out how that worked?
I'll say this first. Dance saved my life, right? Dance taught me discipline. Dance taught me that I do belong. I got a lot of attention from that. I was a majorette, right? The
Okay,
captain of every squad I've ever been on, right?
nice.
So it's not that,
So you belonged with your squad, so you found a sense of belonging there.
yes, but here is the thing. This might shock a lot of people. I didn't move through my journey with emotions. I didn't have a feeling about it one way or another. If you felt as a kid, I'm still the same way. Ask anybody, like, oh, Toy, you still the same. You the 6 figure, this, the this, that news, radio, podcast, all of that. I don't care nothing about nothing, none of that. But just a genuine me, I still move the same. I'm a logical person. God has blessed me with a huge, strong sense of logic. Right now, am I saying that I didn't feel any emotions? No. But what I'm saying is at a young age, I learned how to master logic over emotions. So the sense of belonging was not dictated off of other people's actions. It was solely dependent on what I wanted for me. So if you felt like I didn't belong, it didn't matter because my validation didn't come from, even as a kid, what you thought. It took one hurting situation to show me that, nah, I might not need to connect for that to that, right? And so that one situation from when I was 10 years old, when that happened to me, I immediately started to realize, you know what, I got to do X, Y, and Z for myself, and it's okay. So that situation kind of entailed, as I explained, me and my sister, we are a year apart, right? People, and again, light skinned, long hair, all the things. We didn't have that in the household. Like nobody in my household cared about colorism. Like it wasn't a thing. But people on the outside would buy her stuff, take her places, all the things, and leave me at home and say that I'm too old and we're only a year apart. So they kept us separated on many occasions. So I was like, you know what? Don't worry
Mhm.
about it. I'm gonna buy my own stuff. I'm gonna get my own stuff. I'll take my own self. So that as a little girl kind of made me think more logically than emotionally. So I don't care. Like if I go in a room and they can't take all this, it's okay. I'm still okay. You got to deal with what's going on inside of you. So yeah, I'm still that way today.
So it was that experience when you were like 9 or 10 that you chose, "I'm gonna belong to myself."
Yes.
And if you want me in your group, yes, and if you don't, like, it doesn't matter because I belong to myself and to my creator, and I feel
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I'm actually writing a book. I'm launching a book in on March 21st. It's called The Serotonin Junkie. It's the secret sauce to help you hack your happy. So in that
the
it talks
secret
about
wait, I gotta the secret sauce to help you hack your
your
happy.
happy.
Okay,
Yes.
keep going, that's so good, such a great
So a lot
subtitle.
of that talks about how I became authentically me
Okay.
by my mindset and understanding how our generational inabilities, learned behaviors, learned helplessness, and things of that nature come from your mindset. You're hijacked from being anybody authentic because before we're born, family traditions, religions, and things of that nature say this is who and how we are supposed to be. So we're hijacked of being anything authentically before we're ever on this earth. So what
Mm,
happens in the mind and how it's formed then affects your mood. Your mood determines how you respond to different things, right? And if you respond in a negative way or an emotional way, right? What happens is sometimes it can demotivate you or motivate you to make your money. So that's my M3 formula. So the pregnant pause that I teach you in the book, along with the strategy, will help you be less emotional, more logical, and be more happy. It's literally the strategy that I used when I was a kid, but tweak a little bit. It's the adult version.
where did you find that learning? Did you just was it, like, inside of you? Was that stuff you saw reflected on television? Where do you think you hooked into, "I'm not gonna look at this emotionally, I'm not gonna show up, feeling sorry for myself." Where did you get that from?
Experience. It's life experiences. I didn't ignore the experience. I learned the lesson. So
Mm,
I don't have to be the one to get burned by the stove to know that it's hot.
okay.
If I see you go over there and you stick your hand, you say, I already know. I don't want to do that. That might not be safe. That doesn't feel good. So I mean, I didn't ignore the fire on the stove. Same difference of if I see you somebody that made it and you were in college and your career and everything is paying off for you. Hey, how do you do that? I'm equally as attracted to that. So it's just really using the common sense that's not so common. God gave us all an internal tool, internal GPS to say this is the route you go with this situation, and then you need to reroute your GPS if you go in another situation. Most people go off of how they feel and not what they're logically thinking. And at a young age, I realized that just some things just wasn't right. So what do you do with that? You learn a behavior. Remember, I talked about learned behavior that says this isn't right. So I'm gonna create a new habit inside of me of thinking and doing that says we don't repeat this. So my kids don't carry it, my grandkids, so on and so forth. So it came from the internal GPS
Mm.
that God gave to us. I just listened to.
Wow, I love that. It comes up for me the word like experience hacking. Like whether
Yes.
your experience or someone else's, you're actually learning from them instead of trying to like force the world to be what maybe it's not. Like, oh, I just want this and why isn't this happening for me? You're
Mm-hmm,
watching and you're going, okay, if you do that, then that happens. And if you
mm-hmm,
do this, then that happens.
mm-hmm,
And so making really intelligent decisions separated from that emotion,
mm-hmm.
making those choices for your life. Is there ever moments for you where being I would in my language, I would correlate like who you are as a very strong person. Are there ever moments where being strong feels really heavy or exhausting?
Oh, always, because people will treat you like a muscle, like you are strength, and really ignore the little things. You know how many times I hear people saying, "Oh, I don't have to worry about you. I
Mhm.
know you're gonna be okay." You know, I do have emotions. I'm not saying that I'm somebody that's an inanimate object. I am still human, right? Blood is still warm, thankfully. But my thing is, I am still human and I am still a woman. And I think that's the misconception across women everywhere.
Mhm.
Everybody think we can do all things. It's Whitney Houston fault. Because Whitney Houston had us singing, I'm every woman. It's all in me. Baby girl, it ain't in me. Okay. I'm one woman. I mean, and we were singing that song to the top of our lungs and believing and feeling and going and flowing and swaying and dancing to every word. It's the
You're
biggest
right.
lie that's never been told by a singer. Well, maybe not any singer, but a female that I know. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I wish that people could see that it's okay to check in on me
Mhm.
too. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
tell you something, right, that I haven't shared with you. So I was under the weather and I wasn't feeling too hot. A few people knew. Um, you and No, it's another young lady I'm working with for my gala, and you checked on me and said, "How are you feeling?" That brought tears to me. When I tell you, not anybody else
Mm.
called back and checked and said, "Toy, how are you feeling?
No.
Do you need anything?" Of course, my husband. I'm not talking about household, but that's golden
Yeah.
for me. So yeah, I
Yeah.
get feeble sometimes too.
Life goes in
And thank
Western
you for that.
culture. You're so welcome, and I'm so glad you're doing better. In Western culture, there's all of this grind and work hard and achieve, and maybe sometimes that overshadows our humanity and I'm gonna use it because this is the belonging podcast, our belonging to each other. I know a lot of my adult life, I would not have been the person that reached out and said, "Hey, how are you feeling?" Because I was too busy. Like I was just going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. But I've gone into a season of my life where I've purposely created more expansion and more spaciousness. And what I've found is I like belonging to you and I like you belonging to me. And the you is very collective. In the Bible, the story of the Good Samaritan wasn't about somebody helping their family, but about somebody helping somebody from a entirely different, we call her a neighbor, but an entirely different culture, an entirely different religion. And that I thought was the one of the truest stories of belonging, that we all belong to each other. So one of the things that brought me to this podcast was a question that just sort of came up for me one day. Like, if I truly believe that we all belong to each other, like if I really believed it, how would I show up different today?
Mm.
So I've tried to learn how to root into moments to say, wait, I need to take a breath and check on people around me. Maybe it's that mother with 3 babies crying in her cart at the grocery store. Instead of getting annoyed because it's inconveniencing me, maybe I can help her. Can I keep my eyes open to a wider community and create belonging for others? So thank you for, I didn't even really think about that. I was checking in on you. Like that feels like a natural thing to me, but it means a lot to me that it meant a lot to you, because I think little things like that didn't cost me anything. It wasn't much time. It was simply, I prioritized caring about you
Mm.
because you're in my life. And I wouldn't have always known you were sick, but I happened that week to have known you were under the weather. And so it was important to me. Like we're states away. There was nothing I could physically do, but I could care and I could create that space for you. So I think that's where a lot of belonging is missing in the world. And I think if we can create a little bit more of that, there might be space for some of the softness. Like I think it's great to
Mhm.
be strong. And I think it's great for people to, just charge forward with what they're creating and what they're building. And I think that it will be an even more beautiful space when we make that space to create belonging for others.
Mhm.
Now, I like talking about belonging to others. Um, if I have my math right, you're coming up on your first wedding anniversary. Is that right?
Yes, it is on
Yay.
Valentine's Day.
So thanks for Facebook that I get to keep up with all of my extended friendships. Can we talk a little about your new husband and then about the relationship?
Oh, it's great. Having a partner, not just, as a husband, but as a spiritual partner, somebody to help out a real man, that can handle the business on and offline. Like that is everything. My family absolutely loves him. He is one of the smartest men I know. That right there. Okay.
We
All
like
right.
that.
Yes, and he's handsome. So, all the things. It's definitely the man that
Mhm.
I prayed and asked God for. I went on a sabbatical for a while and just tried to figure out me. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, when you just take a pause, he'll come. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't, ooh, I want to move fast and all of that. You know how sometimes when you meet somebody, those first 48 hours be hot. It comes in hot, honey, if there's an
Yes, it
attraction.
does. Yep.
And then after that, time passes and it either gets stronger or it starts to phase out, especially if you're not intimate. Let's just be real. Because intimacy would keep a fire going that never even should have been lit. Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So if you do things decent and in order, right? And it still come together the way that it's supposed to, you'll have the man that you're supposed to and the woman you're supposed to. So yeah, love it.
Was
Love it, love it,
there
love it.
was there a moment in the courtship time? Was there a moment when you're like, "Ooh, I feel belonging when I'm with this man."
Oh, from the day one.
From day one,
Girl,
what was that
that
feel? Tell me
yeah,
about that. I wanna know all
yeah,
about that feel.
this probably was half my fault because 'cause Imma just be honest, I flirted first.
That okay.
I did. I
You opened
did.
the door. You just opened the
I
door, maybe
did.
open the window for him.
I wanted to see, I wanted to see would it work. Yeah, and me and my homegirl was together, but I've been knowing him for a long time, so he wasn't new to me per
Okay.
se, but the type of relationship that we were starting to build was new.
Okay.
So when we weren't on a date per se. He invited me out, but it wasn't a date. It was like it's an event going on. Hope I can see you. Whatever. Cool. We went. Child, I was dancing. And I said what I said. I will not say that on your podcast, okay? I'm not gonna
Ah,
say.
ah, come
But
on.
when I did, he said, all right, you better quit playing.
Uh.
I was in order, but it's too much for TV, right?
Well,
So
was
I
that
was
the moment? Was that the
y-
moment?
nope, nope, nope.
No,
So we
that
went to
was
spot two, but we
okay.
went to the second spot. Then I was like, okay, I like his vibe. All right, well, let's see. So when we went on the first date, I was for real sure. Like, okay, I like this. But let's see what happens 5 months from now, 6 months from now. Like what is this going to be? So yeah, and we didn't commit for a long time. Like we were just communicating, getting to know each other before like 6 months before we
Building.
said yes, we're in a relationship.
Wow.
So yeah.
So within that marriage relationship now, what does belonging mean? Belonging to each other, belonging to yourselves within it. When I say belonging, what does that bring up for you?
Oh, we definitely belong to each other, but we also belong to ourselves individually. I think a lot of people get married and now all of a sudden they feel like everything is about the husband, everything is about the wife. My brain doesn't work that way because I'm still me,
Mhm.
right? I'm still going to do some of the same similar things. We put guardrails up where necessary, right? Because you respect the marriage, and then let that be that. If I cannot be around, do business with anybody that cannot be authentically them. It's like a spiritual thing for me. I need an energy thing. I need you to be you authentically and unapologetically. That just makes a better recipe. The cake comes out sweet, the icing sweet. We can cut it. We got little layers in the middle, maybe a little surprise. We're gonna eat it and gain a few pounds, right? You done your job. So for me, I just need to make
Oh,
sure that you're you, and that's who we are. I am me, he is him, and we are we.
that's good. I love that. I
And
love
I'll
that.
tell every woman, and the world may not agree with me, but I really feel like you should only put 80% of yourself into any situation and give it your 100% of that 80. That 20% is reserved for you to stay out of jail or hell, okay? That's for you. Stay out of jail or hell. Because when you imagine putting your all into something or somebody and it doesn't work. I mean,
Okay.
that's why people do crazy things. So
Mm,
you have to keep you at the center and the core and then work around everything and everybody else.
got it. Got it. Two more questions for you today, Toy. First, my last question on belonging. How today are you creating belonging for others?
Oh, that's a great question. So a few things. So I'll start from the top with my nonprofit organization, motivating bold believers for excellence, because you have to be motivated and bold to believe you can be excellent. That's where I am working with the youth ages 16 to 22 with personal development. Financial literacy and then real world readiness, helping them prevent debt and poverty. So, doing workshops with those babies, on communication, social emotional intelligence, preventing debt, what is credit, what type of life do I want to live? What does that look like for me? And helping them in a real world way, right? Show them how to really prepare for adulthood and prevent all the pitfalls that most adults experience if they were not taught, because most parents don't take the time to
Mm,
say, this is how you budget, this is how you stay out of debt, this is how you do this, that, and the third. Well, raise your hand if
correct.
that's what you're doing. Me, that's one of the things. So creating belonging with the youth. Number two, creating belonging with women. I love my ladies, okay? Coach Toy loves the ladies, and I live by my motto, I can't let anything control my mind, mood, or money, right? So helping women build their businesses, their confidence, and helping them understand you are perfect just the way you are. This is not happening by accident. You might be a little bit off kilter, if you will, but that can be recalibrated to put you right back on track, right?
Mhm.
So, women's retreats, life coach certifications, workshops, and even girl groups at times. And then, thirdly, creating belonging for my friends and family, right? Just being there, that listening ear, somebody that they can talk to, somebody that I can talk to because we converse back and forth, just being able to fill their cups up
Mhm.
when they feel like it has a hole in it and it's about to go empty, right?
Yeah,
And then they
yeah.
do the same thing for me. So that's belonging for me.
Mm, great stuff in there. So good. And then finally, what is the thing about your business right now that has you most excited?
Girl, wait a minute. Where do we start? Ah! Y'all, 2026 has came in blazing for me. I got
Ooh,
city contracts off the woo woo. I got nonprofit contract I just sent through. We're working on a few things right now. The first thing is the book launch. Y'all, I have been wanting to launch this book for almost 5 years. I am finally about to become an author called the Serotonin Junkie. Of course, the serotonin hormone is the happiest hormone in your body. So teaching you how to produce that naturally, and utilizing the M3 formula with the pregnant pause. And of course, with my motto, I can't let anything control my mind or the money. Learn a little bit more about Coach Toy, how to build wealth and things of that nature in the book too. That's on March 21st, which is 2 days before my birthday. So we're gonna do a little bit of that.
ooh,
Number two,
nice.
what's the second thing? Oh, women's empowerment. Yes. That event is coming up on May 2nd at Rain. I'm excited about that. So you'll have bosses in the room to help them again with their mind, mood, and money. You have professionals in there that will be the speakers. My goal with the women's empowerment event is to make sure that they got a psychologist, psychiatrist, therapist, or somebody they can go to after they give them their real world speech. They can connect with somebody who can help them with their mood regulation. They can connect with people that can help them open them and grow their businesses, so on and so forth. And then, of course, a bank. Cadence Bank is one of the top sponsors, if you will. They will be there to help them to build wealth, loans, and things of that nature. So the last thing too is the gala. I love my gala. So the next one is September 12th. And we went to Paris last year, a night in Paris. This year, we're going to Vegas. I got a surprise for y'all for that one. But that's it. Business is going excellento. I'm getting to work with the youth. I'm getting to give back to the adults. I
Mm.
can say this, and let me clarify two things. If you are somebody who has a business or businesses plural, the first thing I want y'all to understand about me is everything that I named, I have been doing for at least 10 years. I have a duplicatable system and process in place. So regardless of who the person is, the process is there. I just hand it over to them. The second thing is have a team. You got to have a team, duplicatable process, and a team to get things done. I am not all things. So, I train some of the top surgeons in the world. I'm in the medical field too. I just don't talk about that. The reason why I'm saying a team is important is because you cannot expand without experienced people on your team,
Mhm.
right? And then this is how I organize. If you don't hear anything else I say here, remember this. Time management is everything. So what I did at the beginning of the year was I locked in all my dates and booked all the venues and figured out who gonna do what. So once it's time to do the book lunch or the gala or so on and
Gala.
so forth, it's already in place. So I'm not scrambling at the last minute trying to figure something out. So the month of December and January, I organize and plan, and then we smooth sailing coast the rest of the year. Don't stress yourself out trying to be all things for everybody, because you're going to feel like you don't belong, and you're going to make everybody
Mhm.
else feel like they don't belong, and the people ain't going to rock with you no more. I'm just saying.
Having a plan.
Having
Yeah.
a plan.
Yeah. So you can show up because when you have a plan and you're not overly stressed, you get to show up fully, authentically. And when you're full and authentic, that invites that from those around you, which then by default is going to create belonging.
That's awesome sauce. That
I
is so
love
good.
that. Coach Toy, you have created serotonin in me. This podcast, it's always so wonderful to talk to you. I know you have so much on your plate. And once we get Elevate Villages underway, you'll be getting a call from me so that we can put together some coaching programs for our youth who have aged out of foster care with little to no training that they need to be full and successful adults. So I look forward to us working together for decades to come. And
Yes.
congratulations on everything you have going on your new marriage, on your new grandbabies. We didn't even get to that,
Woo!
but it's a good life. And
Shout out to my
it's,
grandson. Iman.
there you go. Love it. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Also, I want to send a shout out and a deep thank you to our lovely patron, Dee Laughlin, who's made this podcast possible. And those of you who want to get involved with Coach Toy and learn coaching, be coached, go to a gala, whatever it is, all of her information is going to be in the description so you can follow and check out everything she has to give to the world. And if you feel belonging is in her epicenter and you want some serotonin, check out her book coming out in March. Everything is listed below. This has been the Belonging Podcast by Elevate Villages, where belonging is something we build together.